Yeah, I mean, he doesn't mind going headstrong into whatever situation and jumping on the grenade or putting himself out there for the betterment of the team or the situation. But now, yeah, now it calls into question like, is he not going to be able to cover the person's back to his left or right? Is he putting his team in jeopardy now because he's not able to perform at 100%? And so that's what he's wrestling with because it's probably never been an issue for him. He's always been the go-to guy. He's always been somebody who's like, no, you know, I rely on my accountability and my steadfast. And so for him to now have to deal with the fact that he might be putting his team in jeopardy, that is also something that he has not dealt with and is having to wrestle with internally. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's real life. I've known people that have kind of been given an expiration date, and when you come to terms with that, and you start kind of getting your mind wrapped around what that means, and you start settling your debts and start making amends and start doing all the things that maybe you wouldn't have done had you not had that diagnosis. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, maybe there's a cure or there's a some sort of trial therapy or trial medicine, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I'd kind of already written out my plan, and when when it when the thought of like all of that going out the window and like I might actually be able to extend this life, yeah, that's a tough. I think anybody in even in real life, like I said, I've known people that have come to terms with it, and then something has happened, and they're like, oh, there's some new experimental drug that might actually extend my life for another 10 or 15 years. Um, that's a huge curveball. And I think if he was still going it alone, if he was still just at the department doing his day-to-day detective stuff, uh, maybe he wouldn't have thought of this as an opportunity. He would have just stayed the course and just run out the time that he had left. But I kind of feel like now that he has found himself in this like team of misfits that he identifies with, and he's found a kind of a core group of people that he believes in, and a mission that he believes in. Now he's like, okay, well, maybe an extension or a possible second chance might not be the worst thing. And so it is a tough thing for him to get to because he's a hard-headed kind of guy.
And then he sees how they all show up for him, even though he didn't tell any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was probably the big emotional moment for him throughout the series or throughout the season. Um, was was all of a sudden realizing that he has kind of a found family that he's maybe never really experienced before because he is a bit of a lone wolf. And so now all of a sudden there are people that not just depend on him but now care about him. And that was a tough scene to play because up until that point, he was just, I got this, I got this. Don't worry about me. I don't need your pity. I don't need your sympathy or empathy. I don't need any of that. Like I'm good. And then it kind of really, I think it really hit a chord in him that had not been struck in quite a long time. Yeah, I think it was probably more the for the exterior. I think he's probably thinking what's best for the team, what's best for her. He is a bit selfless in his mind, even though what he's been doing up to this point was pretty selfish. Not telling everybody what's going on with him, keeping it to himself, hiding that secret, and still going about his job. That was a selfish act. But in his mind, it was, no, I don't want to trouble people with my burden. I don't want to, I'll carry this weight myself. And I think we all know people like that. I know I certainly do. And and so I think in that moment with in regards to his relationship to Oliveris, I think he kind of resorted back to like his like, no, I don't want to weigh you down. Okay, I don't know what this is going to be like. I've never done this, but I certainly don't need you there wiping drool from my lip. And he's like, that's not the image that I need you to have of me. But I think more he was thinking like, I don't want to drag somebody else down. And I don't want, because maybe it doesn't work. And now spent all this time with him, helping him go through what he doesn't understand what it could be. I mean, it might be really awful. And then to end up maybe not working and him dying, and now he just drug her through the mud emotionally and physically, and that's never. I don't think this is the kind of person that would want to impose that on anybody, even if he loves her. Yeah, I don't think he ever. I don't think it ever wavered what his directive was. I think he always was, mission first. If anything, it was uh, it was crippling to him because it was getting in the way of what he knew he was capable of doing. And that was probably the biggest hurdle that he had to deal with was having this situation impact his capabilities of performing and getting the mission done. So I think that he'd die for the mission at all costs. He just didn't think it would be a self-inflicted cost.